Hey everybody, so we did get a new update today on May 23rd. We have a whole lot of new stuff coming. We have a new game mode available until Monday the 26th of May. So get in, try it out, and let them know in the Discord how you enjoyed it. I tried it out, and you're going to see some background footage here behind the video the whole time, and I'll cut to a little bit at the end, where I went 35-3 in the new TDM mode. We also have introduced off-the-grid currency packs, which is a microtransaction they're implementing in the game. As of right now, the pricing is horrible. I would not recommend spending your real life money on this. In the future, I think it might be worth a little bit more. You could honestly earn the amount of gun so fast that you could purchase for $90 that it is just not worth it. We have Cyberlimb optimizations and slight changes. We saw a slight nerf to Ghost. We saw major ADS changes that some need reverted, specifically on snipers alone. We've seen a slight nerf to the AZV-100 and quality of life fixes to when being rippered. That's my major takeaways from this update. Let's go ahead and get into everything. So sorry I didn't get this video out earlier. I tried to stay up for the update. Unfortunately, I fell asleep while the update was waiting to be published. But here I am now getting this all out, and I'm going to deep dive into it for you. So our new TDM mode. New features. Experience Deathmatch. Our new fast-paced free-for-all mode where 20 zeros face off in tight arenas across Teardrop. So it's roughly a 260-meter circle on the map. And what you do is you have 20 enemies in there, and it's a free-for-all mode. There are a few bots in there, but you have a bunch of real players in there. It felt kind of easy for me, but it was a little chaotic because anywhere you were being shot by two people, it felt like, which is realistic. You know, that's the practice that some new players need. But I think this mode would be a great practice for new players to just get in and get the feeling of off the grid and what limbs they like and how to adjust their sensitivity. I think this is going to be a great game mode to like get your settings tuned in and whatnot before playing extraction mode, just because extraction seems to be like so fast paced and hard that it doesn't really give you the moment to like get your settings, get your bearings straight. So I really do like this implementation. Maybe they'll add some tweaks to it in the future and whatnot, because I did feel a tiny bit of lag in there. Maybe it was just my ping or something going on. It was my first game of the day, but typically my game is tuned in. So like I said, the off-the-grid currency packs, you're going to see this. Please do not invest in this at the moment. It's just not the best. I do understand that since they have a blockchain and they have crypto coins, if they're going on Sony, if they're going on, you know, Xbox markets, if people purchase currency packs like this, it might not be going through the Xbox store. So it's just a way for them to keep the little bit of added tax in their pocket. But you know, as of right now, the prices are just horrendous for the players, and I wouldn't invest my money personally into this. So they did add gyro aiming for PS5 and PC. What that is if you have a DualShock, I don't know if it's on the DualShock 4, but I assume on the DualShock 5 and up, any other controller that has gyro compatibility, you're going to be having new settings in the controller settings with gyro, whether you want to turn it on and whatnot. So it could help. It could, you know, be really buggy right now. I have no idea. I'm not a controller player. I don't have any recommendations whether you should turn this on or try it or not. Gameplay. Added the ability to hold the crouch button while using the jetpack to trigger a slide afterward. So what this is when you're diving down in, you can slide if you're holding your crouch button as you hit the ground. You have to be going very fast. You have to have a lot of momentum, and you have to go at the right angle. I tried to replicate it a few times in the Cyberlimbs, and I had it once. Unfortunately, I wasn't recording, but all the other times I was hitting the ground and crouch rolling. Maybe I wasn't going fast enough because I was in the Cyberlimb range. It's not really a big area. You can't get the momentum like you can from jumping off a building and sliding on the ground. But I'm excited to see this implementation and see how it works. Hopefully it's not too buggy and we don't see ourselves bouncing off the map in endgame. Fixed multiple audio issues, including footsteps not playing when the simulated character is beyond the attenuation radius. So a lot of people have been complaining about not having footstep audio, not being able to hear an enemy when they're nearby. Maybe they're dropping in from the sky and canceling their jetpack at last minute, but you think you would be able to hear that. I have had some complaints about footsteps not being able to be heard personally. Maybe they need to add a little bit more audio options in the audio tab to allow people to tweak it a little bit better and get a little bit more bass if they want it. All right, weapons. So first, third scope toggling. This is what I'm talking about. This is the major ADS changes that they need to look into, at least take it off the sniper class. For every single sniper, you shouldn't have the ability to do this. What it is essentially is taking your first person scope, let's say a 3x combat scope or an 8x scope, you know, toggle, zoom, whatever, and you press the Y key. So if you're on controller and you hold L2, LT, and you press right on your D-pad, you're going to be able to have a crosshair instead of looking down your scope. Same for mouse and key. If you are looking down your scope and you press Y, you're going to have a crosshair while looking down your scope. You're going to have to do this for each weapon that has a scope. So if you have 2 weapons that have a scope, slot 1 and slot 2, you have to look down the scope and press that button for each weapon. But then from there on, for the rest of the game, you're going to have a crosshair. That crosshair is immensely small on snipers. It's already a problem. You're going to see me in my 35-3 gameplay just sniping the crap out of people with it. Additionally, we have added extra settings in the options to allow you to set your default perspective with sights. This is limited right now, but will be updated soon and improved. So it seems like they want this feature to stay, and if they want this feature to stay, they really do need to revert it for the sniper classes alone, maybe even marksman rifles. Recoil system changes. All weapons now have brand new recoil patterns and smoother recoil per shot to reduce visual distortion. These new recoil patterns vary in difficulty and are based on each weapon's perceived strengths and weaknesses, as well as its expected engagement ranges. Since this is a new system, the new recoil patterns may take time to iron out and are subject to further tweaks based on player feedback. Recoil reduction bonuses when crouching have been reduced to 33%, was 50%. Due to the new recoil changes, the previous bonus resulted in recoil reduction that we felt was far too strong when crouching with the new recoil system. So they implemented a recoil system because we were just fighting Bloom before, which meant we always had to fight spread. Now with their implementing the recoil system, we're going to be trying to fight vertical recoil, horizontal recoil, and spread all at the same time with our attachments. So what does that mean? It means that all the previous weapon builds that we had with attachments and whatnot, you should probably look over. You should probably edit your attachments, you should probably test them out a little bit in the Cyberlim range, and you should see and feel what feels best now. Because I'm not sure exactly what's best, as I haven't had enough time since the update to get in and see what attachments are good. I don't really have any recommendations, but I'm assuming it's going to be anti-recoil, or anti-vertical recoil, and probably a little bit of spread. Missing limbs. Recoil improvements. Spread per shot and maximum spread when missing an arm has been reduced to plus 5%, was plus 10% to smooth out the jump and spread when losing an arm in combat. I don't know about you, but if you've been ripped recently and you were trying to shoot someone after you lost your arm, it felt like you were not hitting shots. Luckily, this is going to be helping that. It's going to be reducing some of the spread that you were having, and you might be hitting your shots a little bit more when you get ripped. Spread per shot and maximum spread when missing legs is now reduced by 10% when missing legs to improve legless weapon combat. So once again, if you were missing your legs and you were trying to shoot people, they had a really high spread on it. They reduced that by 10% even more, so now you should be a little bit more accurate if you are missing legs trying to shoot someone while on the ground. Spread changes. All weapons have had spread per shot reductions based on the new recoil patterns to take some of the weight off the randomness of spread and place it more on the recoil side of the weapons. So what this is saying is there is still spread in the game. We still are going to be using some attachments to fight spread, aka Bloom. Bloom is randomness. It means when you're aiming somewhere, your shot could go anywhere within that crosshair because it's Bloom. It doesn't have any skill issue, it's not you missing your shot, it's just randomness. So spread per shot has been reduced by approximately 5 to 6% depending on the weapon in question, with a few outliers having slightly more reductions. This should result in longer bursts being more accurate, but fully automatic weapons fire blooming later than before. That wording is a little confusing. What that means is that if you're holding down your trigger on a spray weapon, your bloom is going to get higher the longer you're holding the trigger. All you have to do is fight it. You know, it still feels rather similar in game, but you are going to have the recoil pattern that you're fighting against. Miscellaneous weapon changes. Camera shakes. Reduce the amount of roll and Z vertical jitter on a lot of third-person camera shakes. ARs and LMGs. All ARs and LMGs have had slight damage drop-off range increases. What that means is that they're able to do more damage at range. Slight damage drop-off range means that the damage at range is a little bit farther. This comes primarily in the midpoint of the curve to extend the distance before damage begins to drop to its absolute minimum. This should result in ARs and LMGs being slightly more efficient per shot at mid to long ranges. So ARs and LMGs get a slight buff at mid to long ranges. I'm excited to see that with this new recoil and spread changes. SMGs. Tacoma added 3 new underbarrel grips for the Tacoma. AZV-100. AZV-100 was overperforming in a few different departments, but mainly when it came to headshots. Due to the way burst fire weapons work, simply reducing the damage didn't work well enough or feel good. As a result, the weapon has had its base damage and headshot damage reduced. But its burst cooldown, the delay between burst firing, has also been reduced to compensate for this damage reduction. The AZV-100 should feel a lot snappier to use while dealing less damage but remaining competitive. Damage reduced to 50 was 60. Headshot multiplier reduced to 1.75 was 2. Burst cooldown reduced to 0.225 was 0.275. I use this a little bit in the combat range. The burst cooldown doesn't really feel any different, but I will tell you there is definitely a damage reduction in the AZV. You're going to notice it even in the Doom 0 variant, but it is still very strong. Let's get into Cyberlimbs. Buzzkilla fixed an issue where it attacked players in an invisible state. This confuses me. Is Buzzkilla not supposed to knock a ghost out of Ghost? I thought Buzzkilla was supposed to knock a ghost out of Ghost. If they're saying this, it seems like they want Buzzkilla to not attack ghosted players. Fixed a bug where it failed to appear after a limb swap. Recon drone adjusted scanning zone color to yellow. For me it was already yellow. I'm kind of confused what that meant. Maybe it was orange. I do use colorblind settings. Ghost adjusted the timing of its invisibility effect. It now takes twice as long to enter and exit invisibility. This is a ghost nerf. This is a ghost nerf that a lot of people have been wanting to see. This is a ghost nerf that I think is going to change it a little bit for some players that use Ghost, because if you're in Ghost and you pop out to shoot someone, it is 2 times longer to get back into Ghost. If you're in Ghost and you get shot by someone, it is 2 times longer to get back into Ghost. If you're popping Ghost, it is 2 times longer to get into Ghost. So this is a big change. I am excited to see this because there has been a Ghost meta recently, a Ghost pandemic I like to say. I'm still curious if I'm going to be using Ghost as my left. Hookshot fixed an issue where activation could be interrupted by other equipped movement cyberlimbs. Paralyzer fixed detection effects persisting after character death. What that is when you killed someone, there was still a red effect where that enemy was. They're trying to fix that. Ripper fixed an issue preventing limb use and loot box interaction after being hit. If you've been ripped recently and you've been doing this animation where you keep holstering your weapon and whatnot, or if you just haven't been able to pull your gun out or pick up anything or interact with anything, that's what this fix is trying to fix. This is a huge W because I can't tell you how many times I've been rippered and then the game is just pretty much done for me because I have to go hide somewhere, drop off all my limbs, or open up the settings and commit character death to be able to have my teammates to buy me back because this ripper bug. So I'm really excited to see this fix, and I really hope that this is an actual true fix that fixed this problem. Adjusted the camera zoom during strike execution, improved the fixed calculation on the activation camera. Slam fist added visual effects when the limb hits objects, so now there's like a red cloud when you see what your slam fist is hitting. Skunk paw fixed an issue with smoke effects becoming invisible when fired in multiple locations. Thumper fixed missing voiceover warning for incoming mortar strikes. If you've had this issue, I really feel bad for you. Fixed gray out area of impact video effects. Roadrunners updated consistency, activating the jetpack now automatically disables roadrunners. Roadrunners can still be manually reactivated while flying. So those of you who have been using roadrunners, jumping off a roof and flying away with your jetpack, and your roadrunners are still going through the sky, you're creating a lightning bolt, you know what I'm saying? They did fix that, so now you're not going to be wasting them, but you still can accidentally activate them in the sky. Alright, UI lobby updates. Fixed UI elements related to widescreen layouts in the HUD panel. Fixed distorted animations for two-handed weapon and pistol hold in lobby. Fixed incorrect button labels and adjusted scale size boxes to prevent text overflow. Fixed XP notification mismatch. The XP shown after a kill now matches the actual XP received. Fixed an issue with the camera position while spectating. Added settings to toggle between third person and first person for scope views. On keyboard and mouse, press the Y key. On controller, hold aim down sight, LT or L2, and press the emote key right on the D-pad. So that's what we were talking about earlier with the scopes on how to get the crosshair when you have a first person view scope. Fixed text display issue, respawn unavailable, incorrectly appeared on a teammate after the unlimited respawn notification. Localization. Added localization for the tip start extraction on Hextractor. Miscellaneous fixes. Fixed an issue with the Cyberlimb ground loot textures disappearing after player disconnection. Fixed various issues related to weapons disappearing from the marketplace after exiting the View All Offers menu. Fixed an issue with weapon assets floating near the character when swapping the left arm in left shoulder view. Fixed HP bar not updating during regeneration. Fixed missing hex cube display on the tutorial hex extraction terminal. Fixed a collision issue in Midtown Harbor that prevented player movement. Fixed delayed jetpack overheat video effects that incorrectly played when a remote player re-entered the screen. Alright, now I'm going to cut to some gameplay of the new TDM game mode that's available until Monday. Here's some of the footage. Bro, how many fucking trip mines you got in there, you little chicken shit? Fuck out of here, bro. Shots. trying to kill someone else though. Let's go. So when you win team deathmatch, what you get is about 3.75 gun, top one, and should have a purple hex here, purple omni hex. So that's pretty cool that that's what you get when you win team deathmatch. If you enjoyed the update, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I hope you guys all have a good rest of your day. Peace out, and I'll see you in the next one.